So what's going on, Matt? Tell me what's going on.
Hey guys, well we're walking down memory lane here. This is a project that my company worked on years and years ago. This is our first construction project, first rehab. This was done a couple of years ago when the market was just different. It was starting to soften up, but you could still build houses and sell them, and there was still a market for sales, right? So this house we bought, it's in our hometown, right around the corner from where I live. I drove past it every day, and I kept saying, somebody should do something about that house. Somebody should do something about that house. And at that point, it was an old, boarded up property, just absolute, ugly duckling on the block. There's no other boarded up properties in this area. And I kept driving past and say, somebody should do something. Somebody should do something. And finally I said, you know what? I'm going to do something. So I had a title company research the property, and the guy's name in the public record was spelled wrong, right? So when you go into public records to find the owner, the guy's name's spelled incorrectly, so you're not going to get very far. When we did the title search, we looked on the deed and found the correct spelling of the guy's name, right? I did a Google search for the correct spelling of the guy's name, and only 2 people came up. One guy lives, maybe about 20 minutes from here in New Jersey. The other name came up in Piscataway, New York, right? I called the guy local. He didn't know what I was talking about. I called the guy in Piscataway, New York. I gave him the address. He said, "That's my grandfather's house. What do you know about it? Why are you calling me about that property?" It turns out, I'll try and boil it down real fast here. It turns out this guy's grandfather passed away in 1964. Okay, the son didn't want anything to do with the house. Lived somewhere else. So he let a cousin live here. Didn't have a written agreement with him. Let a cousin live here. The father dies in 1975. Doesn't tell his son about it, right? The cousin lives here and pays the taxes, pays the real estate, pays the real estate taxes, pays the bills and whatnot. He dies in 1985, okay? His family keeps living here for free. Nobody tells nobody anything about what's going on until the home just becomes dilapidated because, when something's free, you don't treat it very well. So the roof started to have problems, the property just became dated, and sometime around 2001, the family that was living here, who were descendants of this cousin, right, if you can follow the family tree here, they just move out, right? So the house just sat. The real estate taxes weren't getting paid anymore. So a tax lien holder bought the tax liens. They start to begin the foreclosure procedure. But the property still is in the name of the grandfather from 1964, right? So I contact the grandson, and through the surrogate courts, he's able to take ownership of the property to sell it to me. This guy up in Piscataway, New York, is now 75 years old. So he made money. He made good money. And I got a property. So that's the happy part of it. The bad part of it was this is our first rehab. So we got in, we started doing lots and lots of work on the house. We tried to rehab it, and it turns out that we ended up having to tear it down. So we put a bunch of money into the house and then had to rip it down and build a new home.
So how much money did you put into it before you tore it down?
I put probably about 35 grand into the house before we tore it down. Okay? Then we tore it down. It's a fantastic house. It's something I'm very proud of. We did not make money on the deal. To say the least, it was the cost of education. It was a school of hard knocks, which is what I want to put to all our viewers out there. You don't have to to actually make mistakes to learn. You can listen to people like myself who've got some battle scars over here to prove that I've learned plenty of lessons. So what I want to do is continue to put out mistakes I've made in the world so that people can learn from my mistakes. You don't have to go out and make them on your own, because believe me, you don't want to lose the amount of money I lost on that deal. I got over it. I've made more than I lost from the education. That education has provided me the ability to go out and make a lot more than what I lost on that house. But I rather would have not lost the money and listened to somebody like myself who could have given me guidance.
But it wasn't really a loss as much as it was a purchase of a lesson.
It was the purchase of a lesson. Thank you, Nick, for rebranding that.
Absolutely.
It was the purchase of a lesson. But what I'd like to offer up today to people, the lesson on this, number one, never give up. Continue to do your diligence. Continue to do your diligence to find out ownership and be very tenacious, because I was very tenacious about this deal and we got the deal. Secondly, when you're doing a rehab, begin with the end in mind. I know it's a little cliche to say something like that, but always know what your end game is and exactly how you're going to get everything accomplished and how you're going to get out of the deal, because we began that rehab not knowing exactly what the end was going to look like, and we got down the road and realized we couldn't do what we wanted to do. So begin with the end in mind and never give up. That's it for today, guys.